That's a big one. That's a big one. Stay on, baby. Oh my gosh. Stay on. Yes! Yes! That's how you start Championship Friday, right there, baby.
All right, folks, we just wrapped up stop number 1 of the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals, and we have our first ever Tackle Warehouse Invitationals champion on Lake Okeechobee. Joshua Weaver got it done. Congrats, man.
Thank you, thank you. That has a nice ring to it. It's been a long time coming. Had a lot of close calls, quite a few close calls down here, so to bring it home this week, it was something special.
You caught 31 on day 2, 26 and change on day 3. You had over 70 pounds for the win. Really, the back half of the tournament was phenomenal for you. Will you take me out, show me how it's done?
Yeah, let's go get back out there. I think there's a few more out there left to catch, so maybe we can catch another 7-pounder today.
It's pretty warm, feels like they might bite. This could be good.
They're coming, they're still coming every day, so we'll go catch us some.
All right, let's go. Alrighty, Josh, we made a little bit of a run. We're out here to one of your 2 primary areas. Your sort of number 1 spot is kind of blown out and muddy right now, which means you had to catch them in a different place on day 2 or on day 3 than you did on day 2.
Yeah, so I was starting here every morning, the horse area, and just going around all these mats and reeds and lily pads and everything, and I was catching a good one every morning here. Did the first morning, did the second morning, the second morning I just caught some keepers, but I knew I could come in here and catch some fish and kind of take the nerves off a little bit, you know, just get some fish in the boat. And before I went to where I thought I was going to catch them, where I caught them on day 2, and pulled up here and it was going off. So ended up catching all my fish here yesterday pretty much. Went up to my other place and it was all blown out. There was a lot of shiner fishermen around. I think them idling around in the really shallow grass and stuff was just chopping it up, making it muddy. It was hard to even get a clean cast winding a chatterbait around. So came back here, spent the rest of the day, and ended up catching another 5 and like a 3.5 to get me up to 26 and some change, and it was good enough.
Alrighty, well, I say we get after it because I'm really itching to catch a bass.
Yeah, let's get after it.
Alright. So Josh, you've got kind of an open area in front of us here. There's like some eelgrass, there's some pads, some reeds. Like, this is kind of the stuff you were keying on, right?
Yeah, so these fish were really keying in on these isolated reeds, these pads, and these like little bay areas. So you can see there's a lot of thick pads and mats all around us, but this is more open. And there were some guys that did good in the mats and everything, but I was just targeting the fish that were out here in the open, spawning on these reeds or either coming to spawn further back, and this was just a stopping point for them to feed up for a little bit. You catch a bunch of bucks in these things, so it kind of tells me that there was quite a few fish spawning around them.
Okay.
And they're just pulling up overnight. It was pretty crazy. I mean,
like you would make the same cast multiple days in a row and be able to catch fish off of it.
Yeah, so right over there, the first day I pulled in here, first thing in the morning, I caught a 6-pounder. And so I was all stoked about that. And then yesterday, I caught the second day when I had 30 pounds, I caught a 6-pounder in the same place.
Golly.
And then yesterday, I caught a almost 8-pounder in the same place. So it's pretty crazy that they're just pulling up day by day throughout the night, during the middle of the day, and they bite. It's kind of weird though. The big ones bite in like windows. They don't bite the whole time, like all day. Yesterday they bit really good in the morning, and then right before we came in, there was another window. It goes, and it changes every day. You know, normally you'd think it would be the same, but The first day, the bite window was from like 9 to 11. Nothing really in the afternoon, nothing in the morning. And then the last 2 days, it was like morning was good, and then afternoon was good. Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. And you were basically throwing a chatterbait almost exclusively, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I caught my biggest one in the 30-pound bag on a swim jig, and it was just one of those deals that a place looked right, and I fired it up there, and swim jig came over a lily pad, and the sucker chased it over the lily pad clean out of the water. So it was a pretty awesome bite for sure. And I landed that thing, and I had him on braid on a swim jig, and I had to bring him through pads and everything, and I had him by the fat of the mouth, in the corner of his mouth. When I landed him, I was like, today's just one of those days. That you lose that fish 9 out of 10 times.
Did you boat flip him?
I did not boat flip. I did not. I boat flipped quite a few on the 30 day. I think I boat flipped 2 6-pounders.
That's all right, that's good.
Yeah, so when you got them coming and they're up near the top, I just go ahead and roll them on over.
All right, so you were saying there's no little reeds in here, but you still caught fish in here.
Yeah, well, see, like there's a patch right there,
yep.
And there's there's isolated lily pads right here too. So I was kind of targeting mixing it up between the reeds and the lily pads. There's one. That's a big one.
I love it. Do you want me to like grab him or something?
I'll boat flip him.
Bring it to me.
They're still in here.
It can still be done.
Yeah.
That's what I like to see.
Oh man, my hands are so sore. That hurts.
You poor thing.
Guess they're still biting the chatterbait.
Josh Weaver, awesome at fishing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like it when the fish make me look good.
Well, they just know you're here. They knew we're shooting some TV, and you know he's ready to go.
Yeah, nice little 4-pounder.
Yeah, I like it.
They take off like crazy when they hit it. Did you see how quick that sucker
Oh, dude, he moved like 10, 15 feet like that.
So that was why I switched from that 7.5 hex to the 7.6, so I could crank down and crack them
you could
really
just
good.
move them right away.
Yeah, so I could catch up to them.
I like it. Well, it's hard to beat that, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Josh, we got a fish in the boat now. Another chatterbait fish. Give me the lowdown on this. Because you made some adjustments throughout the tournament.
Yeah, so I did. So the first day, like I said, I lost a few fish on the 7.5 hex. No fault of the rod. It was just the way that the fish were eating it. You know, that 7.5 Favorite Hex is my favorite chatterbait rod I've ever thrown. It's just got the perfect parabolic bend and everything. And but this week I changed it up on day 2 to a 7.6 hex heavy, because as you just saw right there, these fish, when they hit it, they take off at a weird angle or either come at you. And so I had to crack them really hard I felt like that was the reason that I was getting so many in the boat, because I was cracking them a little bit harder. And then I changed from 17-pound to 20-pound, because a couple of those fish, you know, whenever you hook them around these lily pads or whatever, they like to peel off through those lily pads.
Yeah.
And you know, 17 and 20-pound line isn't much of a difference in the water, the way that the chatterbait's going to swim through the water. So didn't feel like that was going to affect the bite as much. So making that move, I feel like was a key part of me winning this tournament, going from the 7.5 to the 7.6. Just that little bit more backbone that I can horse those big females around a little bit more. Get a little bit more control of them over that 7.5 and this thick stuff.
And then for your chatterbait, I mean, it was a standard 3/8 ounce JackHammer, black and blue.
Yep, just your standard chatterbait, black and blue. Got to give a shout out to my boy Miles Howe, because I was not catching nothing on a chatterbait in practice. He's like, man, I've got some bites on a black and blue chatterbait. And I was throwing, all I had was 1/2 ounce black and blues. I actually had to go buy some. So I went to the store and bought 3 chatterbaits and donated to Heights Pocket. And yeah, so just your standard 3/8 ounce black and blue. I had the new Googan baits Happy Trailer on there. So just green pumpkin. Black and blue and green pumpkin is a hard combo to beat in Florida.
It's the 2 best colors.
Yeah. So these Florida fish love that color, whether it be on a swim jig, chatterbait, anything. That other big one I caught this week, the only one that I weighed in that wasn't on a ChatterBait, I caught in on a black and blue swim jig with a green pumpkin trailer. So it was that was the color they were keying in on this week for some reason or another. I could go right behind people that were throwing worms and just smoke them. So it was
nice.
It didn't bother me as much when I had somebody in front of me until they started realizing what I was throwing, and then they grabbed one out of the box. So then I had to start paying attention to where people were fishing.
Josh, when did you feel like you had this thing won? Because 30 pounds is awesome, but you've done that before here.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing about pretty much everywhere we go in Florida. You know, a 30-pound bag isn't out of the ordinary. You know, you hear about it in these team tournaments all the time down here. So anybody can come from behind and catch a 30-pound bag. And just like I did, I was in like 60th or 70th place the first day. After the first day, caught 30 pounds, jumped all the way to second.
Yep.
So, you know, anybody could have made that jump the last day and passed me. But that's why, so I really didn't think I had it won all day. And then whenever I was running in, I haven't been looking at my phone or anything all day, and I'm running in, and my watch gets all my notifications, and I'm running in, and my sleeve slides back in the wind, and I start seeing all these congratulation texts, and it kind of got to me then a little bit. I was like, wow, I might really have a shot. And then, but you know, I've been close too many times. I didn't want to say I had it won until the fat lady sang, until the weigh-in was over. And so, yeah, I got in there and everybody's like, oh, you got it. And I'm like, this isn't real. Somebody's gonna come in with a 30-pound bag and beat me. But so I didn't know I had it won until I started Michael was making fun of me. We're sitting in the bag line. I start counting people. I'm like, okay, I've talked to him. He doesn't have them. I've talked to him.
You've gone through the line.
And then it like registered. I was like, holy cow, I'm about to win my first tournament. It was awesome.
What was it like? I mean, you lost the trophy this morning, so it must have been good. Yeah. Last night was a great time. You know, all my buddies came down from, that are coming down for the tournament next week. And so we had a big time at the Tiki Bar last night. Yeah. Ended up losing the trophy, found it. So definitely it was kind of panicky this morning at about 5:30 when I woke up. I was like, what did I do with the trophy? Yep. So I ended up finding it. It's all good. But yeah, we had a great time last night, and I can't wait to get back to Macon and celebrate with my family and friends. Nice. Well, man, I've been out here a while. I've watched you fish for a while. I didn't really realize how long, you'd been out here. It felt like we're dealing with 25-year-old Josh Weaver somehow. But man, congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it.